Howdy, Beeflabart here, and welcome. Okay, as the title suggests down there, just going to add a little bit of functionality here. So, our main menu, of course, is going to look a little bit weird because we're in this mode. So let's actually play it in a new pie, because everybody likes pie. The settings menu, it needs to do something besides look pretty, just like me. Okay, so anyway, what I want to do now is set up the menu to when we click on it, we're going to make these three buttons go away. And we're just going to do, for right now, the first of things we're going to add into it, and that's going to be a resolution change. So let's get into our widget for our main menu. I'm going to keep this video relatively short here. So in our designer, if we look at all this lovely stuff here, our main vertical box. Now, need to make sure that that is checked as is variable so that we can have the ability to do something with it. Okay, and I'm going to look at this as 300 by 250. Want to keep the new box the same size. So what I can do is, for right now, I can click there and make that invisible. I'm going to grab another vertical box, drag it in here, and I said that this one was 300 by 250. We're going to call this our settings vert box, and make sure it's a variable. And if we forget, you can look 300 by 250. Let's do 300 by 250. Let's anchor that to the center. Set our size, which should be -150 and -125. So the box is going to be exactly the same location as the other one. So let's go ahead and start adding some buttons in. Alright, so first button and text. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste. I know I want 4 buttons and I want spacers in between. So I'm going to go ahead and grab me a spacer. It's under primitives. Drop it on here, and this spacer I set at 20, so I want to match that up, and let's go to 20. And now I can do this, copy those, and paste. Click back on it again, paste. Click back on it again, and paste. Alright, so I actually don't need this last spacer. So that'll work. That'll get my buttons here. And what I'll do is button 3, the last one down here. We're going to do this our return button. And change this to say back to main menu. That's lovely. More about its functionality here in just a minute. So what I want to do is, we'll call this our 1080 button, and the text in our button 1920 by 1080. And we'll call this our 720 button. And the text will be 1280 by 720. been so long since I've used anything besides those resolutions. So I would say 1024. Change the text to read 1024 by 768. Compost and save. And we need some functionality now. So we've got our buttons. They're going to do what we need them to do. Let's go to our graph, and on our settings button, we'll actually get to that and do our changing back and forth. But let's go ahead and add in our buttons here. We had 1080 button, 720, and then that, and then that. Okay, functionality. Whenever we press this button right here, we want to execute console command. And the console command we want to do is r.set res, and then we'll do 1920 x 1080. And we can just go ahead and do the same thing for the next two. Execute console command. And again, this one is going to be r.set res. And it's 1280 by 720. Last one is going to be r.set res, and that's going to be 1024 by 768. Alrighty then. We now have the return button and the settings button. So what we've got to do here is we have our main vertical box. You need to get a reference to that. And I'm going to shove it right here. And our settings vertical box. So what we're going to do with these is we want to set visibility. And what I'll do is I will copy and paste. And we'll say to this one hidden and this one visible. And I can go ahead and copy these and paste them in down here. I'm going to get the same two that we had up here. The two boxes. So what we're doing here is our settings box. Oh, the sniffles are real. We're going to hide our settings box, and we are going to make visible our main vert box. Let's compose and save. Let's see how bad I screwed that up. So okay, so they're both visible right now off the bat. So let's go ahead and make sure that I come back up here, go to my designer, and on the main vertical box, let's make that one visible. And our settings vertical box, let's hide this one, but we need to go over here and set on the visibility tab, set it to hidden. And this is going to default it to be hidden whenever we first go in. So now we go to our menu and see it's not there. Hit settings menu and this one pops up. Back to main menu, and there we go. There we go. 1920 by 1080. There's 720. 1024 by 768. For those of you still on potatoes. And go back to the main menu and start game. So that's that. So it was a little bit too easy. Added in on our kill board up here. 9 shots fired, 8 hits, 1 miss, 2 kills. Put that on our pop-up and our heads-up display as well. But our kill board now actively reflects the number of hits and misses. We have our loot. These are horrible, I know. But they work. And this is the first room here. Don't be shy. So he drops his loot and we can pick it up. And let's go back over here, and I don't think I added the misses in yet on the end. And here's the thing is, if I kill this guy now, I'll have about 7 or 8 seconds before the match ends. So I want to make sure I am close enough so I can get my loots. Loot doesn't do anything yet, but just make pretty sounds and go away. So yeah, I didn't put the number of misses in here yet. I hadn't figured out how I want to lay it out. Like 4 kills, big bold over here, and then shots fired, shots or hits made, and misses or whatever. But you can now go play again, or you can go back to the main menu, settings menu, 720. Let's go to 1080. Back to the main menu, start game in 1080p. You can see it's in 1080 now. Hit escape, and it doesn't work because you're in this mode. But if you go into standalone game, we'll play it this way. And that's pretty much it for what I wanted to do with this. So we go to our settings, 720. This is what the native is when you pop this up. Play it in 1024 by 768. Go back to the main menu, start game. It's still in that weird, yeah, I never planned it to be played in this mode. So yeah, the camera placement's a little bit on the awkward side. Have to look at the main menu also. Ooh. Yeah, our scope mask looks a little bit odd. So yeah, I don't know how much I would enjoy having this in this mode. Alright, so that's our 4 kills. And I've got to set it up based on the number of bots now instead of number of kills. So you can have any number in here. Ugh. Oh yeah, so main menu, settings menu, that 1024 by 768 is gonna have to go. That's just sad. So I think that's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and remove that mode, and let's actually go to our settings. Let's hide our main vertical box and unhide our settings box so we can edit that one. And yeah, let's just ditch that one. And we can ditch that spacer. And this one, I'm just going to make this spacer bigger so it separates that. So now it looks a little more normal. So we can hide this again and unhide that one. And I think that'll work for us for now. Go into our graph, and you can go away because you no longer exist. Compost, save, and that's it. We'll demo this one more time, but that was a quick video. Setting up screen resolution is super easy. So now I can go to my settings menu. What I'll do later, if you guys want more on UI design and setup, I'll set up a whole new menu with a little bit more functionality or a little bit more style to it instead of just base functionality. We're already in this mode. Yeah, I could also use grids and stuff like that, but again, I'm just going over functionality before beauty right now, just to get it to work. So there we are in 1920 by 1080, or back to 720, and back to the main menu and start or exit game. But yeah, I just wanted to show the functionality of setting up the screen resolutions, because people keep asking me about it and I keep forgetting to do it. And it's really easy. It's one command, execute console command, r period rather, set res, and then whatever resolution you want. You know, down the line, whenever you're making your menus, there's so many things you can do in creating your widget, and you know, this is just an absolute hideous menu. I know it is. It was just slapped together to be functional. I threw some images in here and some text just because it was too bland, you know? Like added in this guy where he's standing here animated. But what I like actually is if you want a cool looking menu, you can actually create a scene in for your main menu map with bots walking around, doing different animations and stuff like that, and actual action going on. And it's not a video, it's actually gameplay of a sort inside there, and you limit the area to where, like, okay, from here over is all 3D action, and then you've got this blocked out section where your menu is or whatever. The creation process of your menu with widgets, there's just so much you can do. I mean, grid panels, you can set up a full grid panel and say what size grids and what goes in what grid. And you know, when you're using vertical boxes, you can add, well, LAN is local area network, and that's just like on your home network. Whereas dedicated server is actually, typically a dedicated server should be a non-graphical version of the game running just the core engine of the game, so that everybody else can then join to a dedicated server. But then there's the host client version, which is what I use in my multiplayer template because I'm using the Steam template. And what it does is actually, the host is me. I'm going to host a game right now, and you can join my game. So I'm actually hosting the engine portion of it, or the control aspect of the game. A client is just there. They're doing their own little thing, but they can't really do much in the way of interacting with the world unless everything that they do is tied in. And I'm going to walk now. The server needs to be notified that I'm walking, or I'm shooting, or I'm playing a sound, or I'm spawning an emitter. I have to get permission from and then get authority to use those so that everybody else can see it. But yeah, the main difference between LAN and a dedicated server is LAN is a local area network, which is your home network. It's not utilizing the internet, in other words. Dedicated server can be done on LAN or can be done online, and it's just the core server, the server itself. Think of the server as being the boss, and you know, you got to check with the boss and get authority to be able to do anything. Because if you don't have that authority, then nobody else, you can do it if you want to, and nobody else is going to see it. Alright, so that pretty much just completed what I wanted to show in this menu, in this video. But yeah, I plan on doing a much cooler menu, but not really in this project. This, like I said, just showing functionality of certain things and just going in and just shooting bots and having a good time. But experiment with your main menu widgets. There's so many things you can do. Not just like, I'll go in here and play it in, well, I'll play it in standalone again, because I was going to go into the game and show that using the background blur. So our guy here is animated, but this is a render target image, and that's one method of doing that. Another is actually you're in the actual map. You can, what I've done before is I've built an actual scene inside the map that fills up the entire screen portion, and with that, I was able to like have people standing at a bar, leaning over the counter, talking to the bartender. In that particular one, it was a coffee shop, and there was a table. You can put people sitting down at the table, drinking and talking and doing whatever, and actually have some live stuff. You could put a nav mesh bounds in and have an actor that walks across the screen or something like that. Or you could just have this guy right here doing an animation of running, or crouching and shooting, or you could build an animation sequence that is like a matinee. It's something that this guy is actually doing besides an idle animation. So you can actually have live stuff going on, or you can just have traditional plain menu with buttons and then a nice pretty picture over here. Or the design of the main menu is entirely yours. Everybody has the ability to create anything really that you want. I still haven't created a glass yet. Not worried about killing the bots here. And I still only have the one building. And I've just kind of copied and pasted it in and lined it up so I have a symmetrical where there's 4 buildings this way, and that's 8. There's 16 identical buildings in here. Not very great of a map so far, but so you go into it like this is a widget here. It's using a background blur, and it just gives you 2 options: resume playing or exit the main menu. If I wanted to, I could come in here and add a 3rd button in and change resolutions. Oh, yeah, and I did a transitioning sky. So the sun actually travels across the sky, and it'll actually turn nighttime. Not a complete darkness yet. I've changed the lighting color to kind of a yellowish tint. Let's see if I can find the sun here. But if you watch the shadows will actually move. You're defective. Seeing the stars are starting to come out now. It's moving kind of slow, so the clouds of the skybox naturally move on their own. Stars slowly starting to fade back into daytime again. I'd really want to darken it up. I think that if it's going to turn nighttime, you want it to be nighttime. What you looking at? But I thought it was a nice little touch to add the scoreboard and include the number of misses that you made. But yeah, so as it's becoming daytime, the shadows will start changing. You can actually see the shadows moving there. Just a nice little touch. Something that most people wouldn't even notice right off the bat. Oh, I need my big old fat loop. But that's it. I'll actually do some more stuff in the 9 p.m. tonight stream, which it's 10 after 8 right now. So in 50 minutes, whenever I start the Wednesday night show, then I'm going to start with something a little bit different. Just preparing for this weekend. I want to remind everybody that it's Saturday, December 1st. That is this Saturday coming. I'm not sure the exact time yet, but I want to do my smoke out where I want everybody to show up, as many people that can show up as possible. And I will start working on a project just for this event. I'll start with a blank project, or I'll start with my multiplayer template, and I will start building a game throughout the day. We'll talk about what features go in there and start adding in those features and, things like that. The whole purpose is to keep my brain engaged so that I don't feel the need to get up and go and have a cigarette. And I've been smoking since I was probably 15 years old, and I'm 50 now. So, yeah, it's time to quit. Watch the video that I posted about smokeout. That'll kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about and a little bit of background of why I needed to do this. But, yeah, I encourage everybody to come by. I'm going to stream, and I'm going to start the stream, and then I will end the stream at the point of which either it's just gone on way too long and I need to get up and go eat or whatever. But the whole point is to try to stream the whole time without having a smoke break. For me, I'm pushing it at about 2 hours. I'm starting to get a little bit weird. By 2.5 hours, I'm getting antsy. So my goal is on Saturday to try to make it at least 4 hours or more. And by getting you guys to post questions right here in the comments while the stream is live, to keep me engaged in what I'm doing. And as long as I'm doing something productive on screen and helping you guys or working on a project or doing something, then hopefully it'll take my mind off of it. And honestly, it scares the living crap out of me because it is an addiction. So, yeah. Yeah, are you on the... I'm on the North American East Coast region. So that's where my Steam is set, and it's where the majority of my team is set, so that's why I never change mine. That's the downside to my... the upside to my Steam template is this freaking bulletproof. It works. It works 100% of the time, works great. But the problem with it is Steam region based, and I haven't figured out a way of disabling that, so without writing a whole new setup. But yeah, if we're on the same Steam region, then let me know what Steam region you're on. As long as it's in the US, I can probably kind of tweak it a little bit. You can actually go into keep getting that email thing warning or asking if whatever, but if that's still my email address, which means somebody has tried to hack my fucking account again. But you can go to your settings and damn it, get on the correct monitor. Downloads, and I'm currently on the Charlotte region, but you can actually change this, and I haven't seen where it necessarily works for like Australia and other countries as well without using a VPN. Yay, there's a Berlin one. But yeah, I'm on the East Coast of the US, so any of these, like, if you're on the Charlotte, it's not a big deal. If you're on the New York and Miami and anything that's on the East Coast, but if you're on a different area, then you would have to change your region over. Yes, Ark Survival Evolved. Start playing that a little bit again. And still doing World of War shit. So, yeah, give me a shout on my Discord. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close down the stream, because this stream was actually done doing what I needed to show in like less than 10 minutes, because it was super simple. Just setting it to where in your designer, you make sure that your main vertical box or whatever you want to hide is set to normal, and then your other one is set to invisible, and set your visibility here to hidden to make them change back and forth. You're just turning on and off visibility. And the resolution part, r.setRes space whatever the resolution you want to change it to. So I did have it, I got it in 1920 by 1080 and 1280 by 720. If you want to set up a 4K switch, that's your whatever you want for your game. I'm just doing 720 and 1080 on this one, just to get the point across. But you get the idea. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and best just get with me on Discord and let me know and give me a link, and I'll help you test out. Always glad to help. But I will be starting up the Wednesday night stream. Starts in 45 minutes. So I do have to do a little bit of prep prior to that. But other than that, we'll see you guys at 9 o'clock.